voting rights is always a fundamental issue for African Americans. Democracy is at stake. Freedom is at stake. And Joe Madison, longtime radio talk show host in the Broadcasting Radio Hall of Fame, he has launched a hunger strike. Said he is going to be on that hunger strike until Congress passes the For the People Act and the John Lewis Act. He joins us live right now. Joe, glad to have you on the show. So, why'd you decide to do this? When did you decide to do it, and why now?
Well, I decided, I'll be honest with you, I decided when Biden was at his town hall meeting and a young lady asked him about using the filibuster to at least get the John Lewis bill passed or to get the Freedom to Vote Act passed. And he said, well, he waffled and he had to, well, I got to get this infrastructure bill through. And then I started thinking about the first Reconstruction, the compromise, and I don't want to get too deep into the history, but you know it, Roland, 1877, the compromise, and once they compromised and Rutherford became president by one vote in Congress, the first thing they went after was the vote, was the franchise. It was the upstart of the Ku Klux Klan, terrorism, and for 60, 70, 80 plus years, the impact was devastating. So here we are, 21st century, and I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. None of this gets started. Biden wouldn't be in office if it wasn't for the black vote. This does not make sense. Why are we on the back burner? And I realized one of the problems was that there's no tension. Martin Luther King Jr., Roland, used to talk about creative tension. You remember when the story when he, after the 64 Civil Rights Bill, he said, we got to have a voting rights bill. 65, he said, well, make me do it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Look, they have three options, and everybody keeps trying to suggest in the Senate, well, these options won't work. The first option would be to blow a hole in the filibuster. I mean, the filibuster has been used to suppress our vote and our civil rights from the very beginning. And it's not a law, it's a rule in the Senate. You blew a hole in it for the Supreme Court of Justice. You blow a hole in it when it comes to the budget of the United States. Well, damn it, blow a hole in it for our right to vote. The second thing, the Congressional Black Caucus, Roland, even said to ask Schumer to do what? Reconvene and come back with a vote again. And then there is the Freedom to Vote Act, which, by the way, could help do what the John Lewis bill would do. Now you've got three options, and then all of a sudden we're hearing, well, you can't do that. And I'm telling Biden, I'm telling Congress, look, if you don't do this, then you're going to have a rough go of it in midterm, and you're certainly going to have a rough go of it when it comes to re-election. And then I got to be honest with you. You know, Dick Gregory and I were very close. And I kept, I started channeling Dick. And I said, what would Dick Gregory do? And, I talked to his son, Christian Gregory, and he said, you know what he would do, Joe. And he would go on a hunger strike, and he would draw attention. And that's exactly what it is. I would just say to you, Roland, 50 years from now, I don't want my grandchildren and great-grandchildren to have to deal with voter suppression. There are, 400 pending bills in 49 states to suppress our vote. 400 bills waiting right now in 49 states. So what we would end up with, it would be what we would call the end of the second Reconstruction. And so, people say, well, what's going to happen to you, your health? It's not about what's going to happen to me. It's what's going to happen to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And then I'm going to tell you, man, the one person I don't even know how he can sleep at night and look himself in the mirror is the congressman from South Carolina. How that brother, and I say that loosely, how that brother,
You mean,
who
hold on,
knows damn well,
you mean Senator Tim Scott, the senator?
Oh,
You mean the senator?
yes, Senator Tim Scott. Man, South Carolina had almost more blacks in the state legislature than any other state, and had sent members to Congress. His forefathers must be rolling over in their grave. So a hunger strike is a protest. The women used it in the suffrage movement in the United Kingdom. They used it here in the United States. And to me, it's not only a political protest, but it's moral. And that's why those are all the reasons that I decided to do this. And you know me for many years, Roland. I'm very serious about this, and I think we all better be serious because this is not business as usual.
Joe, you're absolutely right. And here's the deal. All the White House kept telling us is, look, the infrastructure bill is important. Guess what? It's now passed. They're dealing with reconciliation. But the reality is this here. They better realize Terry McCullough lost by 72,000 votes in Virginia. We know what they're already doing in Texas, in Georgia, in Florida, and those places along those lines. If they don't move on this, they can guarantee they're not going to win the House. They're not going to win the Senate. And then you're talking about folks who are representing a minority of Americans who are the ones who are totally in control.
And let me make it this very clear to them. And I always say this is constructive criticism. I go back to the days of Lyndon Johnson after the Civil Rights Bill was passed in 1964. Martin King Jr. showed up and said we need a 65 Voting Rights Act because millions of black folk, particularly in the South, can't vote. And what did LBJ say to him? Make me do it. And that's exactly what we all have to do about. Now, everybody may not do a hunger strike, but damn it, we can do something. Everybody can do something, and we've got to have more than moments. Professor Ron Walters once was asked what was the difference between a moment and a movement, and it was sacrifice. A movement requires sacrifice, and that's what this is all about, and that's what Dick was about, and so I mean his spirit just kept talking to me, and I realized that there's got to be tension, there's got to be creative tension with President Biden and with the Senate. So look, Congressional Black Caucus said, look, reconvene them and try it again. They've had 5 votes, and they can't protect and stop the suppression of particularly African Americans. And then I said, well, you can blow up the filibuster. I mean, and then that would certainly give you, well, I'll lose this Democrat or I'll lose that Democrat. Well, if those Democrats want to go down in history as being on the side of Dixiecrats in the late 1800s, then that's how history is going to look at them. But I'm not going to sit back here and have my children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren look at me and say, well, what did you do about it? I'm worried. I'm concerned. But I tell you, and I'm going to say this to the Democrats, that they better understand they can't win a national office without us. They can't win without us. That is a fact. They cannot win without us. So you damn well better do what John Lewis said. And I was thinking about the last words of John Lewis. He said, I urge all of you to answer the highest callings of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. And that's what I'm doing.
Joe Madison, SiriusXM radio host, Morning Drive. Man, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And good luck with the hunger strike. And we're going to keep the pressure going on our end as well.
I know you will, Roland. And I just love you and appreciate your support all these years. And, man, thank you for doing. And, you know, they ought to show up on your show and talk and explain themselves. You know, they need to show
Absolutely.
up on all
I
our
agree.
shows. I mean, really, show up on all our shows. And you can show up on CNN.
That's right.
and all these other. Show up on our shows and explain yourself. That's what has to be done.
Well,
so I
that's
love
why
you, Roland.
It's been more than a year. It's been more than a year. I've been trying to get Speaker Nancy Pelosi on. Absolutely. And so we're going to hit the White House every single day, getting them to understand they got an answer to this, and we're not going to be silent until they do.
You know, get rid of that filibuster.
All right, sir.
Go ahead
Thanks a lot.
and take the vote. Take the vote.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Love you, Joe. Take care. Tell the wife I said hello. All right, folks. Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Are the stars out tonight?
Alexa, play our favorite song again.
Okay.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way. Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?